That's the problem with social media. Social media does not tell the whole photo.
It just tells what.
Or the whole picture.
It's curated.
The whole photo.
It's very
does not tell the whole photo.
We crop, we edit, we Photoshop.
And that's the other thing. You know, like
Right?
talking about like snack. Hey guys. Just say hey everyone. I always screw it up.
Hey, everyone doesn't sound right. Hi guys.
Hey everyone. Welcome back to another episode of 30 Kind of Flirty.
And it's your flirties.
I thought we were calling ourselves-
I almost called you Brittany. It's your flirties, Brittany and Joeigh.
Remember that time? Where was I? Was I at like getting Mary Brown's chicken?
Probably.
And they were like, Bert?
They called you Bert. You told them your name was Britt, and they wrote down Bert. Like,
I don't
honor
like
up, Bert.
I don't like having the whole conversation where it's like, oh, my name is Brittany, and they're like, oh, is that with like N-E-Y? And it's like, no, like I have to spell it, so I just say Brit. And so she's like, it's like full of people, and she's like, order up, Bert.
Bert. What do I get? I get Joeigh a lot. Joeigh, because it's spelled. Okay, so for those that are like don't know me and are tuning in, are like, what the fuck is up with this guy's name? Lee, Leigh, Joeigh, Joeigh. It's not Jolie. It's not Joeigh. It's not Joeigh. Joeigh, which I get in our French class. He calls me Joeigh. Because at first I thought, well, maybe that's French. But like, no, he's just calling me a fucking egg.
So now I'm like, what up, egghead?
I know, everyone, the few people that we work with that are in the same class as us, they just call me Egg. Good afternoon, Egg.
What up, egghead?
So
yeah, so I got off topic because
I think that's bullying.
That is, which is our episode
Which
today.
we'll lead into, but
how was Halloween?
But first, yeah, how was Halloween?
Ooh.
Oh. Well, what
did you eat, drink, and be merry?
I didn't do much of anything. I got my hair did
that's right, a little bit more blonde, a little bit more sass.
a little more cut for the boys.
My mother turned.
Oh.
I won't say her age.
No.
Turned 40.
Your mother's a witch.
So happy birthday!
She turned 40.
She turned 40 years old. It's crazy.
Oh my god!
She had me when she was like 10.
She looks. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Donna's birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Donna.
40th. You don't look a day over 40, love.
We love you. I think you look like you're 30, but that's just me.
So there you go. So she had her birthday.
Okay. Does she do anything? What do you guys do where her birthday's close to Halloween? Like, do you do anything?
She always gets the bad end of the stick because we have kiddos coming. Seems earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
So I usually, the last couple years I went over there, we did like dinner early, did a little cake, and then I handed out treats at their house. But this year was a little bit different. I wanted to hand out treats at my house. So that's what I did. I tried the accessible thing, right? Not having kids come up the stairs, and did it in the garage, and it worked out just fine. It's so cute seeing their little outfits, and they're so excited.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny because I'm a chatterbox, as you know. So I'm like trying to talk to these kids like, oh my God, like, what are you? And they just want the candy and want to get out there.
They want to get out.
Like,
they get more
lady.
Listen, lady, we get more houses to get to.
Let's move it along, Dino.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. But it was good, and it was a good time. And you and I, we did a little Nova Scotia
on Sunday
travel, which was really nice. And that's it. Now we're done.
Now it's moving into Christmas season.
It's here.
Which is crazy. I've been doing my Christmas shopping since January of last year.
I know, you're so good.
I'm pretty much done. I just have a few odds and ends to get and do some
Whereas
wrapping. I have to, though. I get so stressed about it.
Also, Joey and I are looking for a little volunteer moment for Christmas. We're looking to maybe get out into the community, give back. Joey's looking at me funny. We had talked about, remember, doing something for Christmas. Yes. And if you know of anything, hit us up.
There's lots, I'm sure.
I know, there's tons.
Feed Nova Scotia.
There's tons. And so it's crazy to think already, like 2 months, we're already into the Christmas season.
We're almost near the end of 2021.
And that's it.
And I still haven't come to terms with 2020. So
I know. You were saying you're making a good point the other day. I said the other day, like an hour ago, about how it's been almost 2 years in March that we've been going through like this panty.
Isn't that crazy?
We hate calling it that, but
for us where we're at, it kind of started really in March of 2020, and
life has shifted.
And who knew that when they told us, "Oh, don't come back to the office,"
they really meant it.
Pretty much 2 years of this. It's crazy. Anything exciting coming up in the next little while? Anything you're looking forward to?
Anything I'm looking for. I can tell you what I'm not looking forward to.
Okay.
Taylor's doing her little thing.
Oh, Taylor
I don't know
Swift.
much about it because I don't really like. I mean, don't come for me.
Okay, Swifties,
Taylor
take a
Swift.
seat.
Here's the thing with Taylor Swift. She was a queen of mine for a bit. I was piloting her. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
if I liked her music. I
Yeah.
got really into Reputation 1989. But I find she's just a lot.
Yeah.
I find she's always doing something. She's always trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
And so she's redoing, I think it's You'll Know More, Red.
Yeah. She's redoing
all of her albums.
Yeah. Reputation and any that came before it.
Now,
She's re-recording.
Reputation, I'm very excited for because I like that album. But Red, I don't really know.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of, she's on my bad
think
books. Okay.
my biggest thing. So I used to be a really big Taylor Swift fan. Ever since Reputation, though, I've kind of not been as big of a fan of hers, I guess. The whole Folklore Evermore thing, sure, is great. A little bit too much at times for me, though. But I do still enjoy her.
It kind of carried on and dragged on.
Yeah. The thing so she's doing these re-recordings because of the whole Scooter Braun fiasco.
Yes, of
right?
course.
Of course, right?
Which I'm on her side for.
Yes. So she's going to re-record them so that we as listeners can stream her versions, and then the money goes to her and to her team as opposed to going to him. Completely understand that.
Yep.
Why not then just release them? Like, why are you waiting? Why are you sitting
Why
on them?
are you making this
Because
big thing?
the longer you sit on them, the more money he's making off of the streams. And if you're just doing this because of this reason, then just put them out there. I get she's trying to make them little eras and build momentum for her fans, and their fans
she already
are
has
excited.
momentum. It's Taylor Swift.
But I'm just like, okay, I'm not digging this. I'm not.
No, it's
And
very
listen,
carrot
And
dangly.
don't come for me, because if my queen, Ariana Grande, was doing this too, I'd be in the same kind of boat. I would want her to be like,
Yeah.
okay, this is great, this is fun, but like,
Just drop it.
if you're doing this because you want us to stream your versions, and your versions are pretty much done,
Get them out there.
then get them out there.
I find with my queen, my king, my however you identify, my monarchy,
Okay. Monarchy, I like that.
Dermot Kennedy,
Monarch.
who we love.
Yeah.
He does the same thing. I mean, not like Taylor, obviously, but he'll like do a song and it'll be pure gold, and then he'll do the song but slightly different. And slightly different.
Taylor
and
does
slightly
that
different,
too a
and
lot.
slightly different.
All the remixes. It's just to get to number one. And this is what this is what I hate too. It's like they release a song and then they release these remixes of it. So then it goes to number one, and the next week it falls like 20 spots. So it's like, yeah, okay, you got a number one, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
As opposed to those songs that, maybe get to number one or get to the top 10 and stay there.
I
Right?
just hate when they
And I'm
treat
just
it-
saying,
Yeah.
Ariana only dropped one version of Positions. It went to number one, and it stayed within the top 10 for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
I mean, Dermot's not that big.
She didn't have to remix anything.
But I find, like, even with him, like, he'll kind of position it as a brand new song, and it's like, it's the same song.
It's the same song.
It's the same song.
Yeah.
So, Taylor's kind of on my list right now. I can't say I'm excited for it. I'm just mainly excited for Adele's.
Adele, the week
That's
after.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, yeah, that's it. That's all. Well, what's so funny is a good little transition, because we love our good transitions. Here I am, like, bullying Taylor. And today we're talking about social media, toxic,
Social media,
mental health, taking care of yourself.
toxicity.
That's the topic at hand.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Taylor's such a bitch.
I'm gonna queue up our CNN spokesperson to give us the down low.
So when Joey and I started talking, so obviously social media is a huge, huge topic, whether it's dating, relationships, friends, comparing yourself, likes, validation, it's all there, right? Like social media is, I would say, 80% of our life? It's a huge part of our life. So when we were talking about it, Joey and I were like, well, how can we stay on track of like toxic social media traits, blah, blah, blah. And then lo and behold, CNN, I have it on all the time. Facebook's in hot water right now. There's a lot to unpack there, but kind of the gist of it is it started out with the insurrection on the Capitol in the United States of America back in January of 2021. I think it was this year.
Yep.
And it sparked all this outrage of where did these people, collaborate? Where did they meet? Where did they plan? Where did they execute? Like all of this stuff. And it kind of started on Facebook. And I don't want to talk about too much about it because I didn't do like my facts research on it.
Yeah, we're just talking briefly.
But this is kind of what has been in the news. Yeah. And Facebook obviously is in court. We have TikTok in there, Instagram, all of these different social media platforms about basically bullying on the internet. There was a profile that was made on Facebook, and all of the things that were being recommended on Facebook to that fake profile were all like, different extremist groups and things around politics. And it got me thinking how toxic, and I don't even mean in the sense of just bullying. I mean just in the sense of like bad information. You remember back when we were kids, you hear the rumor about if you drink a Coke and pop rockets. Did you ever hear that you'll explode?
Yeah.
Like that is something that obviously that's not true. You hear it, it's fake, it's not real news, and you just carry it with you your whole life because that's all you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're very different, but it's kind of the same thing on these social media platforms. Is not everything you see is true.
Well, that's like rumors, right? You hear rumors, and some believe that to be true.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just isn't.
And therefore turns into a toxic trait of social media. And it's funny when TikTok came out. I mean, it's no secret I'm kind of behind on the whole social media trends. Okay, like I'm not in it. But like these videos were coming up and I'd be like, oh my God, these are so funny. And I'd send them to my sister and my sister would be like, oh yeah, somebody else did that. And it's like, well, no, like they're the original poster. And it's like, no, they're just recreating. And so then it opened up this whole can of worms of what's real and what's not real. And I think that that's the main issue with social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook. And I thought it'd be a cool episode because it affects everyone.
And it's interesting when you spoke about TikTok because I remember when the pandemic started, TikTok had already been around, but we weren't using it. And then all of a sudden the pandemic happened and everyone was using it.
Oh, they got huge.
But do you remember you and I were talking about how every once in a while we had to delete it? Because we were constantly seeing good-looking, attractive people, and it was making us feel bad about ourselves a little bit, right? We try not to compare ourselves to others, but we have to remember, like with social media, it's not always real.
No.
Sometimes it's angles, sometimes it's lighting, right?
I was gonna say
photoshopping,
all that kind of stuff.
A lot of it is staged, right?
Yeah.
And we just have to remember. And also, I think, was it TikTok that got into trouble about in their algorithm sometimes hiding those that might have been overweight or
that was
I was trying to be more politically correct, but those that weren't the stereotypical hotties are being hidden. And I think even maybe some races were being hidden. Or
I remember that.
Gay individuals might have been hidden. So I know YouTube hides or had been hiding some of that stuff.
Like that's not what defines that kind of stuff. What society in itself defines what's pretty and what's not. No, that has nothing to do with it. And I feel like once you start having social media platforms define that for you, that's toxic.
Yeah. And one thing too, when we think about like social media and toxic and the bullying, the keyboard warriors, right? Like,
and there's a lot of them.
It's so easy to sit behind a screen and type to a stranger and say all this horrible stuff to someone as opposed to doing it in person. And it gets to the point where I've said to you many times where like, even if I see a post that I would love to comment on, sometimes I choose not to. And like my friend Raven and I were having this conversation a few weeks ago because she's part of like a Facebook group for her local community. And she's saying now like she doesn't even comment because every time she would, people would just say rude shit all the time
for no reason.
And it doesn't even matter. And like, so I go on Reddit a lot. I use it mostly to read things on pop music and like what's coming out and releases and stuff. Of course, I follow a subreddit all about Ariana and what's coming up and stuff. And reading the comments, like there's a lot, obviously you see a lot of rude behaviors, but like one time I made a post like, oh, like this is way before Positions came out. And I was like, oh, like, we think, she's working on her 6th album. What do you guys think it's going to be? Like, I really hope I really would love Ari to go back to like that pure pop sound. But like, I know she wants to do R&B. Like I said that. I know she wants to do R&B.
They came for you?
They came for me like, oh my God, like, are you really a true fan? Like, She's obviously doing R&B. Hate to break it to you, like, white basic bitch, but like she's never doing pure pop again. Like, horrible stuff. I deleted the post. I'm like, I'm not fucking dealing with that shit. Like, so now I just read and I don't hardly ever comment on stuff.
Right, so that's not great for your mental health.
No,
it makes you feel stupid.
It makes me feel stupid. And like, and also, do not come for me when it involves my queen. Yeah, because I know all. Yeah. Okay, so take several seats.
Well, and I think too, when you're a true fan, kind of off topic here, but when you're a true fan, you can see it from both sides. Yeah. Like, yes, they did something not really great. Yeah. And yes, they did something really great. Yeah. And I think that's a true fan, that you love them at their worst, love them at their best.
I think you got to be critical.
You can't always just be like, oh, they're the best thing ever.
You got to be critical. Like, like, we just had the conversation about Taylor Swift. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not being critical of her. I just was like hoping that she would just release the stuff and do it. Or like, a part of me, and I'm not trying to say any artist has to do this, but a part of me thought, because she was so in tune with the LGBTQ plus A people, the alphabet.
You did great.
Okay. She was so in tune with them during the Lover era. Yep. I thought doing these re-records, when you're building those streams, because you already made so much money off of the originals, why not do a portion of that to a charity? Maybe she is, and if she is, let me know. I haven't seen or heard anything about her doing anything like that. And I know she's typically good with charities and her fans and donating, so I'm not saying anything negative about it. But what a good platform to do that with, right? You're doing these re-records for a legal reason, not for money, really, but to have your own masters, which I totally understand. I think every artist should do it. But if you're making that money, take the money out of, say, Scooter Braun's hands, as you are, and put them into a charity or even a portion of it.
And that's a constructive conversation, right?
And I have lots of things I could say about, anyone. That's a constructive criticism.
And I think that's the difference, is like sometimes, like you said, keyboard warriors, where we're telling people off and we're going for it. And it's like, you can have constructive, important, meaningful conversation. It doesn't have to be fighting back and forth.
And Stan Twitter is what they call it, is very toxic, especially when it comes to the queens of pop. Like they will literally, like, the artists themselves won't have any beef at all. Like, there's a lot of Twitter beef between Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez, not between the artists, between their fans. Yeah. So like, Ariana Twitter's fans of Ari that are on Twitter, like the toxic stans, will literally go and say the worst shit about Selena and tag her in the worst shit. And then the same thing, Selena Gomez fans will do the same thing to Ariana.
It just goes back and forth.
It just doesn't make sense. It's like, literally, the two people that you're supporting has no beef, yet you yourselves are sitting behind your keyboard and saying horrendous stuff about people.
And that's something that social media has created. And that's kind of goes back with the Facebook. I didn't really get into it with the insurrection and stuff. Obviously, that is the main issue. But with that branches out all of these just bullying. Bullying online, not having no consequences. I mean, we see all these, like, mothers. I say mothers, it could be anybody. But, like older moms, like, going at it, fighting about, like, who's dying on This Is Us, or like whatever the, like, just really toxic shit. Yeah. And it's in all age groups, all genders, all everything. Doesn't matter what it is, all Facebook groups. It's just, it's there. I find you don't get it as much on Instagram. Now, you and I have a story, which we can talk about. I don't see it as much.
Oh, I do.
But I try to avoid it. Like, sometimes CNN, there's my CNN again, will post something and I will purposely not look at the comments, because I know they're just going to make my blood boil. I have a good friend of mine, Ryan. We've known each other for years and years. And every now and again, I will get a tag on Facebook or Instagram from Ryan, and he's tagging me in a conversation he's having with some right-wing person about, like, basic human rights. And we're fighting with these people we don't know, trying to, like, somehow have an ounce of social justice on the internet of somebody we're never going to talk to again.
And that's the thing too. So one of the main reasons why, like, I like confrontation, and when
I know you do.
When it's face to face, I can go to battle with anybody. I don't care. But when it comes to doing it on the internet, because I don't know who that person is, and because I know whatever I say isn't going to change their mind because they're so up their ass, I just don't have the energy to give to it.
And you're right.
So when I say that I don't usually comment, it's not because I'm scared to. I don't give a rat's ass. It's just, I know there's no point, or they're just going to come at me with fucking stupid bullshit that's just going to mean nothing to me.
Not make any sense.
Of my time,
right?
Now, one time that I couldn't sit sit down and not say anything. And we did the thing you and Ryan kind of do, because we do that too sometimes, where we're talking to someone
We
and
tag
you'll
each other.
tag me or I'll tag you, or we'll have each other's backs. But as you know, I'm a huge Hallmark fan. I watch the Hallmark movies. And the last 2 years, they've been starting to be really good with representation, including the LGBTQ.
Which we love to see.
Right? So they have a lot of side characters will just be gay, and it won't be a big deal. They're just, they have, this girl has a girlfriend or whatever it is. And then last year they did their first movie where not so much there wasn't really a main couple per se, but one of the couples was a gay couple. And they were on the main poster for the movie. And it was marketed as, which
was awesome.
Love
to
is
see.
love, and there's and none of the storyline was about him being gay.
Do you remember the name?
That. It was just the Christmas House.
The Christmas House.
There was no issues with a gay storyline. It's just he was gay and had a boyfriend, and that was part of it. They were part of this big family.
Yep.
And of course, Hallmark does come from, I guess, like a right-wing Christian-based company years ago, I guess, is where it kind of started. Very white and straight, but now they're trying to be with the times.
Yep.
So you see the comments of boycotting Hallmark. Oh, I'm not going to watch these movies anymore. Yeah. Hallmark, they used to stand for love and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, I comment on a few things. And this was a year ago, so I can't remember some of the details. But I remember one woman, calling me everything that you could think of, like twinkle toes and going into hell and sinners and, support this. And it's funny because one guy said, a lot of them were saying, oh, Hallmark, your ratings are going to go down. You're going to lose a lot of watchers. It isn't going to go well. And one guy, I made a comment. I think my initial comment was just yes, Hallmark, way to go. It's about time. We'd love to see this, whatever. Someone commented and was like, I hope this goes well, but I think Hallmark's going to lose a lot of their ratings, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I guess we'll have to see. Well, guess what, bitch? They're doing the Christmas House too. Yeah. It was so good that they're doing a fucking sequel.
Yeah.
So for all you fucking haters, I know. Get out of here. No. We don't get time for it.
You're right. I mean.
And that's something that,
on a Christmas movie.
And that was through Instagram.
On a Christmas movie.
Were crazy.
Christmas comes from a religious holiday. I mean, really, that's how we do it in North America. And you are commenting that hateful message on a Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, my eyes are watering. It makes me so emotional talking about it.
Even to say it's a Christian holiday, we know that there's nowhere in Christianity that says being gay is a sin anyway.
There's nothing. It's just these people preach that they're God's children or whatever. And it's really?
And this isn't anything against anyone who follows religion. I have many friends who are religious.
Nothing. It was just what we were talking about at the
loving
time.
To everybody.
Yeah.
It's not religion that's the problem. It's the people.
Now, I will bring up a story of kind of about religion, which you're a part of as well. Because I think with anything when it comes to social media and being toxic, it's important to realize the difference between being toxic and standing up for yourself. Being toxic and having meaningful conversation about social justice issue, human rights issues. And I think there, for myself, if there's ever a situation where I can stand up for human rights or social issues, that to me is not being toxic. So
I know what you're talking about.
There's a story about they wouldn't photograph a gay couple's wedding. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
Because of religious reasons. It was we do not photograph same-sex marriages, period. And everybody flew off the handle. I was part of it. I could not believe that this existed in 2019, I think it was. Yeah. It was mind-blowing to me. So I think at that point, yes, maybe my comments or my standing up could have been taken as, in their eyes, as somebody toxic. But I think when you're on the right side of the reason, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and on that Hallmark stuff, I remember some people were commenting how, it was the liberals that were saying the vile stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That were name calling or saying things, but it's yes, because what you're commenting is literally going against another human being. They don't understand that the things they're saying is basically belittling another person and their life and
their choices and
they're wanting to just be in love. They don't get that. They don't get that they're the ones that are wrong. And
I think that's a good point, is when you're trying to defend in a toxic environment, because it's hard to do, you need to take all the external factors like religion, even sexuality, because you're right, that's a really good point, is let's take sexuality and gender out of it for a second. It's just basic human rights. Mm-hmm. It's human on human. Like, what else do you need?
Yeah.
So I think when you strip down the topics, I think that's the important thing to note, because I think what makes it toxic is when you start, it's easy to get riled up, but when you start using different external factors, like calling people out on their religion, calling people out on their thoughts, then it gets kind of personal.
And I never do that.
No,
I just don't do it. So I think, like, just to remember, like, when you're looking at things that are posted,
yes,
and you're seeing the comments,
yep,
it can make you feel really bad, even if you're not part of the conversation. Even if you're not necessarily arguing anything, it's really sad to see. Like when I see like transgender topics on Facebook or Instagram, and then you look at the comments and just some of the people, it's so easy to just feel very defeated with humanity. But you just have to remember that these are people that, yeah, you know what, they're wrong. They have shitty viewpoints. But the reason why they're so confident to say these things is because they're sitting behind a screen. Yeah. They wouldn't say that.
And nothing
face to face.
Nothing you can say or do is going to change their mind. I think that's the, you know, like there's nothing that you can, like I can sit here and I fight with people on the computer all the time, but that's not going to change anything. So to that point real quick, Justin Anderson, who is a celebrity hairstylist for Kristen Cavallari, who we love. I had to plug that in there. We love Justin. He is wonderful.
He's okay.
He's I know Joey's like mixed.
He annoys me a little bit, but I do like him.
But he has a good heart, and he will post. He'll call out the haters. He'll call out the trolls. Yeah. There was one recently where this girl was always in his DMs telling him off, calling him the worst things that you could imagine. And he reads them. He can see them. Anyway, so one day he comments back. And she comes back and she's like, OMG, heart, heart, heart. I can't believe that you actually responded to me, heart, heart, heart. Wow, this is crazy. I'm talking to a celebrity. And Justin was just like, but you just told me off. Like if I scroll up. So he's posting this on his stories. I can see this comment. And then he's like screen recorded himself scrolling through all of the mean things she said. And it's like, really? For what purpose? You're a fan.
Yeah. Andy Cohen just did the same thing. Yeah. Where someone messaged him this vile, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He responded to it. And then he said, oh my God, I can't believe you responded. And then he said, you probably shouldn't respond to random people though. And then Andy said, well, maybe you shouldn't say those things to random people. Like completely disillusioned.
People just do it because they're bored.
They do it because they're bored. And they
right. You're an easy, and if you feed into it, you're an easy target. And unfortunately, that's just the way.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to another kind of topic within this whole social media. Yep. What about obsession with likes and follows?
Yes.
Right? That's another big one, right? I mean, before social media, we were taking pictures on our little digital cameras and that was it, right?
Yes. So, Instagram definitely, I think, accelerated that culture.
So there's this thing where, you know, you post up a picture and you kind of get consumed with people liking it. Oh, there's not enough likes on it. And it builds a toxic relationship to yourself, right? As well as to social media. Mm-hmm. And it got so bad, I think Instagram, they took away the ability to see the number of likes on people's posts.
Now and others.
You can see yours, but you can't see other people's, right?
Which was a great thing.
Because you keep comparing yourself to other people. I mean, I do it. I know people in our community that will post pictures like and they get, you know, over 100, 200 likes. And I'm like, okay, well, I got 20. So...
But that's the thing, right? Like, a good point to that is, but how many people follow them, right? Yeah. We don't think that. Yeah. So, like, if you have
But there's another thing, too. Followers.
Totally.
Number of followers.
Yeah. Yeah. It is so, and I wish there was, like, a way around it where it can be like, oh, do this, do that. But no, we're all human. And unfortunately, social media, that's the way people tell us that they like us. Mm-hmm. But I like you. Mm-hmm. I talk to you every single day of my life. I don't like every one of your photos. Mm-hmm. I'm not either on Instagram at the time, or the algorithm doesn't show up on my thing, or I don't look at your stories because you're so far or something. Yep. So even though I love you, right? But I don't equate into a like. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's important to remember.
And not, I don't usually equate it, but I do if I'm into someone. Like, so there's someone right now. There's
another one. Yes.
That's in my orbit, on my radar. And Brittany knows I get really upset when it's like, it's funny because if Brittany's upset about likes, I'm the one that tell you, being like, Brittany, it's just Instagram. Who gives a fuck? But then when it's me, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't like my post.
Yeah.
But I get upset because there's this person who he likes some stuff, but not everything. And I get into my head like, why do you like this, but didn't like that, or why do you like that? And I just get all caught up. Like, is he not? Why he's not? He doesn't look at my stories anymore. Like, what's going on? Like, why doesn't he like me?
He's not on there.
But it's like maybe he's not on there. Maybe
the algorithm is giving him.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter because I got to remember it's just Instagram. It's just one of those things that we do as a hobby.
As I'm learning, Instagram equals nothing. It means nothing. And I think to get caught up in it, like I don't even really post on Instagram, as you know. Don't. The last time I posted on Instagram was a picture of Joey and I, you know, with this podcast. But before that, it was over a year. And it's because I just don't really care to. But also part of it is, what do I post? If I post another selfie of myself, am I narcissistic? If I post something of my family, I don't know. You overthink it. And it was never like that when Instagram first came out.
Not at all.
And it's hard. It is hard. And sometimes it's easier just to leave well enough alone than have to deal with it.
Even on mine, like I do post a lot of RE pictures. Like if there's a new photo shoot or something new going on, I'll post a picture. And I remember someone messaged me. I don't even think I knew who they were. Or maybe someone I used to know. And they were just like calling me out for like posting so many Ariana pictures. And it was
like,
stupid.
Why? It's your Instagram.
And it's like, I'm going to post what I want to post. Whether it's selfies, whether it's Ari, whether it's my cat.
Yeah.
I always joke and say my Instagram is 75% Ariana Grande and 25% me and 25% my cat. Does that equal 100?
No, it's 125. Okay, but that's okay to be 125%.
You know what, though? Yeah, I'm very extra in this world, so I'm 125. All you 100 basics, sit down.
But that's important to say, you know, it's your Instagram. You can do whatever you want to do. And if they want to unfollow you, you can. Which brings me to my next point. When people unfollow you, why are they unfollowing you? Did they not like what they like? That's such a shitty feeling.
I went through a moment because I kind of, not that I liked a guy. We didn't really know each other. We had talked on a dating app. I thought he was hot, and we had plans to hang out. And then he wasn't very communicative, but he seemed like he was interested. It was very confusing. We follow each other on Instagram. We even chatted. He would comment on some of my stuff, like it was whatever. And then I got a vibe that he blocked me on the dating app. Like I wasn't 100% sure because it was Grindr and it's hard to kind of know. It's not like you matched with him and now he's gone.
Yeah.
He just wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So I assumed, okay, he must have blocked me. And then I was here with you and I realized he unfollowed me on Instagram and I crumbled. Like I was really upset. Didn't know him, never met him, but I put so much stock into social media and having him following me that it ruined my day.
Yeah.
It did. And I hate that it did, but it did. And you just have to remember that follows aren't really anything. Like if someone unfollows you, especially through Instagram and social media, and you haven't met them, they don't know you.
No.
It's not that they don't like you.
They don't know you at all. It could be they're in a relationship.
Maybe they went through a phase where they were just unfollowing people they didn't really know.
Which I go through.
Right? Yes, we all do that.
Yeah, I think that's important. Joey and I always joke that like if somebody that we have, you know, whoever, a friend have, if they unfollow us.
Do we play with their noodle? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it was like if they unfollow us or block us or mute us or which we would never know, it's because they just like crumble every time they see us.
Oh my God, they're so and that could be part of it too. That for real though, like if you you know, especially with friends, like I have had friends block me and it like upset me, or like friends I've had issues with, but then it's like, wait a minute, they felt the need to block me because when I post, it makes them feel some type of way, and I like that. Yeah. You should feel like shit.
Yeah.
You should feel like shit for seeing me because you fucked up. So you go ahead and block, honey.
Yeah, and I think that's it's such a funny thing because we all deal with it. It's all there. Comparing ourselves, you know, making our worth about what we have on, you know, what is it? Engagement on social media, and it all equates to nothing because if social media was deleted tomorrow, you would still be here. Your friends that are important would still be here. Joey and I don't talk over Instagram. We don't talk.
Not usually.
We talk over Facebook Messenger, but that's because it's easy.
Only if we see something and we send it.
Yeah, we talk over text and we call on the phone. Like those friends that you don't need to rely on social media. Social media could be deleted tomorrow and you would still be here and you would still survive. Yeah. And so whatever happens in that world is
like for me, it's just the reason why I like social media is because it keeps you connected to people.
It does,
like
very much so.
Family that are far away.
Yep.
Friends that are far away.
Oh, children, photos of kids.
You do meet friends through social media. It is a great thing. It just needs to be used.
You feel a part of their life.
It needs to be used positively and not negatively.
Yeah. I would agree.
So, and another, I guess, a toxic thing for me in relation to social media is having that obsession to post. I do have an addiction to post. And what I mean by that, yes. What I mean by that is if I'm doing something, so say if I'm going like a few weekends ago, me and my friends went on a really nice hike. And the whole time, you're taking pictures and videos. And I'm so concerned with wanting to post it. I need to post it and have people know what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought of this because I've been to several different concerts, and not to say Ariana's name again, but I do love saying it. I went to see her twice in my life so far. The first time was on the Dangerous Woman tour, and when you're going to a concert of any kind, you're so concerned with taking pictures and photos, videos, whatever. I get so anxious about it that I'm always trying to get the best shot. I'm trying to post them right there. Like when I saw her live the first time, I was literally posting it to Instagram in the moment, right? And on my stories. I left there being like, I feel like I missed that concert. So when I saw her the second time, I decided, okay, Joeigh, you're going to take 4 or 5 photos throughout the night, right? Just randomly take your phone out real quickly, take a shot, put it back. Take a couple videos. If it's one of your favorite songs, take a video. That's it. That's all I did. And I just enjoyed the concert. And you enjoy things so much better when you don't have that in the back of your mind, anxiety with trying to get a good shot. What am I going to post on Instagram? How am I going to tag it? How am I going to caption it? Like, am I going to get likes on it?
Did I get a good photo of myself?
And I'm bad for that. I'll be the first to admit that's something that's always on my mind. I stress about it.
I didn't know that.
I always remember seeing there's a picture that floats around sometimes on like Facebook and stuff where it's like people at a concert in the front row and all the young people have their phones out like this taking pictures, and there's that like 80-year-old lady in the front just like no phone in her hand, just watching it and smiling, and it's like she is enjoying it in the moment and not worried about how it's posting or saving it. Because I take so many videos at a concert, I don't look at them.
I was gonna say you never look back on those
if I'm
things.
gonna try to look at videos and concerts, I go on YouTube and look for some really good shots of them. I don't look at my own stuff because it's not great. You can hear my voice being like,
that's what I was just gonna say. That you can find into you,
like it's just not. But that's one thing that for me, like when I say like yes, like sometimes I don't care about followers or likes so much, like it's not always on my mind, but when I'm doing something, it is a obsession of me needing to hurry up and get a picture taken and post it. Like we went like that hike I went on, I took some nice pictures. I'm good now at not posting in the moment. Like I'll just take lots of pictures and think to myself, listen, Joeigh, you can post it after the fact, but it's on my mind still.
I didn't know that.
It takes away from enjoying the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like I say, I don't post. Like I had said, I don't post. And it was so funny because on the other hand of that, this summer I was at my best friend's house, and it was her dad's birthday, and we were totally loving it. We were all drinking, drunk, singing happy birthday. It was a great old time. And then later Steph was like, hey, like, did you get a picture of dad's cake? I was like, no, did you? She's like, no one got a picture of his cake because we did like an ice cream cake with his picture of when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So like you got to kind of, sometimes I'm the opposite end of it where I miss moments that I actually want to capture. Steph's daughter, who's my honorary niece, I was thinking about today, I'm like, I don't have a picture of Brookie and I. Like I would love to have a picture of us too. I don't think the last time I went home to Ontario, 2 years ago, I think the whole time I was home, I had 2 photos of Steph and I, 2. And when I came home, I'm like, damn it, I didn't take out my phone at all. So I think there's a fine line. But it's interesting to hear your side of it because that can be very toxic.
It's nice to have that freedom where you don't worry about it.
I know, but then you miss some stuff too.
I worry about it so much.
Yeah. And I wonder, do you think that habit was developed because of Instagram and Facebook, or would it be more just
it's interesting
fear of
because
missing out?
In high school, I did a lot of photography.
Okay.
I had a website where I'd post all my pictures and stuff. People could look at it. Yeah. And I took a lot of pictures. So maybe there's that interest
just always
in
been
capturing
there.
moments.
Yeah.
So maybe it now relates to the social media, but now it's like 10 times worse because of how toxic social media
and how quick social media is.
Yeah. You want to get it out there. You want to
get it to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I know.
Another thing that I kind of just thought of too that relates to social media was that whole thing of FOMO, fear of missing out.
100%.
So when you're seeing like not me so much now, like being in my 30s, I love just staying in. Like I think about people going downtown at a club. I'm like, I don't want to do that at all. But like, back in the day when like you can't go to something and then you're looking at all the pictures and the posts and you get FOMO. It's like, man, I wish I could have been there. And I think that's really big too, even like not in terms of going out, but like when people travel and post their pictures of where they've been traveling. And sometimes you get that mental letdown on yourself where it's like, well, how come I'm not doing that? How come I'm not seeing the world? How come I'm not taking those pictures? How come I'm not having those experiences and so did? But like for all you know, so could be housebroke for the next 2 years.
Not housebroke. They could have, somebody else could be paying for the trip.
Someone could be paying
they could be old photos that were taken 2 years ago and they're just posting them now. Another thing that my mom actually, funny enough, we had this conversation. So I was born in Germany. My mom and dad lived in Europe for 4 years. They got to do, Swiss Alps, Paris, Moulin Rouge, the Black Forest. They've been all over Europe. Really cool. And mom was saying the other day that, like, I asked her, does she have any interest to go to Ireland? Because that has always been a dream. She said, I'd love to do that. I kind of regret not doing that when I lived in Germany. But at the time, my priorities were different when I was living there. And I said, would you go back? And she made the comment, no, she'd love to because she feels like she wouldn't go back. She'd like to if she could. But she feels like even though she was there however many years ago, she feels like even though that memory is still there, the memory is not valid anymore. She'd have to re-experience Europe to say she's been to Europe because so much has changed in that time. Yes. Which got me thinking that because I'm comparing myself online to people be traveling all around the world, it's like because I'm not in that place right now, it's hard for me to... Yeah, I feel bad. I feel like I should be traveling Europe and I should compare myself to them. But if to hear from my mom's perspective, however many years later, it's like, no, like those people won't have those memories with them when they're my age. And so everybody experiences things at different times and memories get old and memories lapse. So even though I'm not where they are right now, that doesn't mean I can't ever do it. I don't know. It's such a toxic thought. And I'm probably rambling a little bit because it's hard to explain how I feel. It's like I'm sad that I'm not doing those things, but I'm not necessarily jealous. Does that make sense? It's like I wish I could do that too, but I'm not jealous of them.
And do you remember too, this is something I always say, and I say this to Brittany, when we get caught up going back to like comparing ourselves to others, right? And say if you're single and you can't find your person and you're upset about that. And then of course you see on social media, like everyone seems to be in love.
They're all pairing up.
They're posting all these pictures and stuff. You have to remember one thing that I always tell myself, like that's right now in this moment.
You tell me that
for
all the time.
I know, 6 months down the road or a year down the road, I could be in a very happy, loving relationship. And those people that I'm so jealous of right now could be going through a divorce.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what life's going to bring you.
You don't know.
So there's no reason really in getting stressed out and comparing yourself to someone else in any given moment. You
don't know their story.
Because life changes so quickly.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, realistically, if we're privileged in the fact that if we wanted to do those things, we could probably make it happen. But just because you're seeing things on social media, if they're your friends, you know that they're going there. But there's a lot of people we have on social media that we don't know. And so you just don't know if they're actually there or if those are old photos or they're photos taken. Like, you just don't know.
Well, and like when I went to Disney World a few years ago, you go and look at those pictures, and I was with my boyfriend at the time. You think, what an awesome little trip, like a little couples trip.
Yeah.
The whole time we fought.
Yeah.
And then that was in March. By June, we broke up.
See?
It was a fine, like, yeah, it was a great trip, great experience, but like, probably would have had more fun with someone else, and he probably would have too. Like,
you just never know.
You don't know the full story.
And I feel like that's where the toxic things come in, is you see and you feel bad and it does not tell the whole picture. That's the problem with social media. Social media does not tell the whole photo.
It just tells what.
Or the whole picture.
It's curated.
The whole photo. Does not tell the whole photo.
We crop, we edit, we Photoshop.
And that's the other thing. Right? Talking about like snacks online. I'm not talking about the treats. I'm talking about people, right? Angles mean everything. Lighting means, which you've mentioned earlier, but it's just important to note that like you can make yourself
Like,
look snatched
that
if you
Facetune app, you can do anything. You can
that's the
change
other
your
thing. We
skin
didn't even
color.
talk
You can
about
change your hair
Facetune.
color. You can change,
Yeah.
whiten your teeth up. You can.
it's all toxic and it's all it's always going to be there. I don't think social media is going away.
No.
So I think it's just important to remember.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to give tips and tricks how to avoid it because you can't. You just have to remember that like it's not true.
Just remember that, the purpose of it is to be social, stay connected to those you love.
Yes.
And the other stuff is just whatever. Don't put too much stock into it.
It's a moot point. Cow's opinion.
It's a moot point. It's a cow's opinion.
It's moo.
Don't matter.
It don't matter. And just on like a little touch on the whole dating side and relationship side, the story viewing and the liking, and they don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good topic maybe down the road.
I think so too.
Social media and
I think
because that's a whole other gamut.
Yeah, like having people that your crush like your photos and stuff, the algorithm. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying there's so many external factors to why they're not
in my mind, it's
stuff.
like, okay, well, if he likes me, how come I'm not like he doesn't have like a notification for when I post?
And that's why that's probably a really good episode.
Yeah.
It's just at the end of the day, it's not you ever. No. So yeah, that's it's just super toxic.
That's the toxic social media life, y'all.
And there's no way to avoid it. Embrace
With that
it.
said, follow us on Instagram.
We need to be validated by those.
Yeah.
No, but it's one of those things that she's toxic.
Who is
Social
she?
media.
Who is she?
She's just toxic. There's nothing. I'm trying to think. Is there any tips or tricks? But no. Get off. Take a break.
There's no tips or tricks, but we've outlined why it's toxic.
Yeah.
And just remind yourself, think about it differently, I think.
Think about it differently,
Like I'm actually come a long way with in terms of the obsession to post. Like I said, I used to literally take pictures and post in the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, but now like usually what I'll do now, like when I went on my fall trip, I went for walks and stuff. I did lots of things. I took pictures the whole time. I think I did 2 to my story in the moment, just as a little, whatever. The rest of them, I banked them. And then when I came back, I went through them, deleted some, and then I posted a few and said, had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Like there was no pressure or stress to post anything out there.
No.
So like I've come a long way in that regard, at least. So I think there's ways that you can, as long as you recognize it, you can recognize like, hey, this kind of thought process isn't healthy and isn't good for me, and I need to change this.
I always feel, just listening to you talk about that, I always feel like if I post, I'm being annoying.
Really, yeah.
And people are gonna see my post or see my photo and be like, I still follow this bitch. Like, I gotta unfollow her. Which is a toxic way to think. Because on what fucking planet would I be a bad person? Like, they're following me.
Yeah.
Why would I think that about myself? Yeah. But that's what I do. I always feel like I'm being annoying, or I'm like clogging. Like, I haven't posted a photo in 2 months, but I feel like I'm clogging up their... Right? Especially like you see those people unfollow you after you post something.
Whereas I'm just like, here's another photo of Ari.
But that's such a toxic thing to think. And for what purpose? Why did nobody's ever given me a reason to think that?
It's your Instagram. Do what you want. If they unfollow, they unfollow. Fuck them.
Yeah. So that's the tea. And
that just is the tea. That just is the tea.
Yeah, exactly.
So
follow us for all of your
jingles.
Us telling it like it is. I don't know.
Like it is.
I don't know.
That's
the episode.
Wish we had a game, but I can't think of anything.
Toxic or tits?
Toxic or tits? These tits were made for walking. And
flopping.
That's just what they'll do. One of these days, these tits are gonna be motorboated by you.
Ooh,
that was good.
Come through. You're gonna motorboat. I'm not gonna get into it.
No.
And yeah, so with that, follow us on all the platties.
I'm gonna let Brittany take this one.
That's what I just said. Follow us on all the platties.
Okay.
It's so funny. I started
all the platties.
I started calling them platties because I could only use so many characters on Twitter. And TikTok. So like I'll be like, we're on all available. Oh no, I say all avails platties.
All of Val's platties. You've heard it here first.
So yeah, with that.
Well, no. Let me
you want to do the actual?
Let's just 5-star ratings and reviews is all. Give us some of those.
Yeah.
And then follow us on the socials. 30 Kind of Flirty Podcast on Instagram, and yeah.
Message. So if you're listening to this and you listen through all the way through. Tell us something on our latest post about what you think, like how you cope with toxicity on social media, and we'll hit you up with a little something, something.
Oh,
That's right.
that's the
And I give good prizes. Ask Joe.
eyeball emojis.
Ask Joe. Joe give good prizes. It's like, Joey, you want a cookie? You want a cookie?
Yeah, ice cap. You're an ice cap.
I'm gonna get you. But yeah, on the latest post, whatever that's gonna be, we'll find you. We'll slide into the DMs and give you a little something, something. I'm not talking about like a photo. I'm talking about something like monetary.
If you're a cute gentleman, you may just get my number.
So, picture of a peck.
I got him.
A peck pick.
Peck pick. You know, okay, can I just say real quick? Dick pics, meh. You know, dick's a dime a dozen. I want the chest. I want to see a peck pic.
Yeah.
Hashtag peck pics for real, yo. Hashtag where they at?
You would.
Hashtag
you would
justice
be.
for peck pics. Okay, well.
I'm surprised you could say that as fast as you could.
Justice for peck pics.
3 times fast.
Justice for peck pics. Justice for peck pics. Justice for peck pics. I like my pecs.
You want a cookie?
I do. I want a peck.
All right. And with that, we'll talk to you
guys.
later.
We love you guys.
Bye.